Yesterday, News 18 brought you the story of Dr. Joseph Furr, a family physician whose Hillsborough practice was taken over by a larger corporation back in March. Tonight, we take a closer look at why this is happening and what's next for the doctor whose life changed in an instant. Hillsborough, Indiana is known as the town of 600 happy people and a few sore heads, but now it's also known as a town without its only doctor.
It was pretty hectic. Like a lot of people relied on him, so it was pretty bad.
Back in March, the family practice of Dr. Joseph Furr was taken over by the Franciscan St. Elizabeth Network, something Furr says he just doesn't understand.
Your tax dollars go to putting doctors in rural practices. Like, why would you take one away? But I am the person you're looking for. I'm the guy that lives and works in his own hometown.
So why did they take one away? Lisa Decker is the vice president of business development with the Franciscan Network, and while she couldn't comment directly on Furr's case, she says situations like Furr's have become common throughout the United States.
We've seen small practices close or be bought out in rural areas because it gets tougher and tougher for physicians to be a one-man show or one-woman show in the rural communities. There's a lot of overhead, there's a lot of pressure.
Furr admits he did reach out to Franciscan for help for those exact reasons back in 2011, but says he never thought it would end like this. Do you think it ever came down to money?
So when they buy a practice, like you said, it's not the building they're after. It's the charts. It's the patients, because that's money. I'm sorry, but it is.
But Decker says Franciscan has to do what's best for their company.
The reimbursements make it very, very tough economically to put those physicians and those nurse practitioners in those areas. So it really is, it's a balancing act of the finance side of it and also the mission that we serve in the community.
Decker says part of that mission is providing people in small towns with the care they need. But by taking away Hillsborough's only doctor, instead of walking down the street to receive medical care, patients must now find other ways. What are you guys going to do now that Dr. Furr is gone? How far are you going to have to travel to get to another doctor?
For something major, we're going to have to travel about 30 miles up to Crawfordsville.
Having a doctor in the center of town is something patients not only miss, it's something Furr misses as well.
These people were so kind to me.
And you were saying they would share stories with you and...
Absolutely. We just became to know each other. You know what I'm saying? Their stories, and you just learn about their lives.
Furr says he would love to open a new practice in town, but with a non-compete clause in the contract, he says that won't be possible.
We'll see if there's a way to get around it, but there may not be. It may be so restrictive that I might just have to move out of my own hometown.
Decker says they try to place nurse practitioners in rural communities when they can, but when News 18 asked if one would be placed in Hillsborough, she says it's something they'll have to look into. Until then, patients are left wondering if they'll ever have a hometown doctor again. And Dr. Furr, well, he's just wondering if he'll ever get back to doing what he loves.
I think it's part of my bones. I think I'm going to be a doctor wherever I go. And I'm ready to get back to doing it.
And Lisa Decker says another reason hometown healthcare is so hard to sustain, only 25% of physicians graduating from medical school practice in primary care. And of that 25%, only about 1 in 100 will enter into rural healthcare.